So the serves which you hit flat, the serves which you hit this sort of spin, this sort of spin, and that sort of spin. But if you really want to study the art of serving, how to put a spin on the ball, I recommend that you try serving high serves and try to serve around the clock. I'll show you what I mean. Just put the racket down the other way.
Yeah, it's on the early side. A bit before we thought that
perhaps I can get you all to come forward a little bit.
Oh.
So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is put the ball up in the air like that. Just land roughly on it. And see where it goes. Okay. Now what you have to be able to do, or what you want to try and learn to do, is be able to land the ball like that. All around the top. Okay, so if I want to put the ball to go along about 1:30, I will do that.
Oh, God. Shut up.
So you have to be able to learn to control the ball so you get anywhere around the clock you like. And now, let's take some examples. If, for instance, that second one, if I hit that time, that's got all sides of it. And that's forward as well as sideways. So that's the one that's going at 1:30. Can anyone tell me how I can get it to go at 11:30? Or 11 o'clock?
Topspin.
This is the high serve. It's going to land on the top.
Probably straight out of the ball. Topspin.
Same as the previous one.
If you're a right-hander, you actually have to do it like that. You don't see that. Now, when you come to do the high serves on the penthouse, the one that's going off to the left is trying to climb the penthouse, and the penthouse is trying to throw it off. So the two balance hands, and you can just go plop in the corner. So we'll just try a couple of those. Whereas you're going to do the one that's going this way, the penthouse and the spin of the ball are acting in the same direction. So that's going to go across the
It's not as wide as Radley. Good here. Pretty well.
one game already, isn't it?
Oh, there you go.
Makes up for it.
I learned there was a different class of players myself. You hadn't quite taught it way back.
John, sort of that.
All these serves take a huge amount of practice. I'm afraid I haven't practiced very much already. The first thing you need to learn about serving, quite seriously, is that the second serve is the most important. If you've got a great second serve, like that ball, then you can be really ambitious with your first serve. Only get 30% in, and you're still fine because you've got your second serve. Now, the next thing you want to decide is who you're playing at the other end. In my day, which wasn't very recently, I had a number of great players to play, including Frankie, not very much, John, is only a little bit younger than me, and Graham. Now, if I was, for instance, playing Graham could do all the shots, he was a great player. But when you're returning serve, essentially, you can get your opponent to block, and then off the back wall. Now, Graham had a good form, but it wasn't as good as his volley. So if I was serving to Graham, I'd be serving deep onto the back wall. if I serve to Jonas, whose volley is... but he's got a good force, I'm going to serve short onto his volley. Okay, so if I'm serving the bobble to... there, I'm serving to Jonas, not a 11 take. And the same also applies to all the other serves you might do. Any questions so far?
It's very good, that is.
One of them is, right, telling the younger generation that we always try and make it sound so that it goes down the back wall. The length, all they've got is this bottle length is that it goes down and hits the back wall.
Why is he in his
What the low down, the balance
Pretty close to me. Right, let's try and work through some of the basic actions here. We'll start with the side ball. Move over this way while I stand here. So the side ball serve is this basic action.
What about for left-handers?
I want you to coach them. I've now got to play Greg. What serve do I want to serve? What sideball serve do I want to serve at Greg? Deep one. It could be a deep one. The trouble with the sideball serve, if you serve deep, it hits the back wall on the floor, and then you can do anything you like.
Yep.
So if I'm serving a sideball serve, Greg, I want to try and make sure it doesn't have a single bounce, because the single bounce sideball, this one,
Perfect.
that one is going to be a really easy volley. So I've got to make sure there's more than one bounce, preferably 3 or 4, on the penthouse. So the best way to do that is to hit the penthouse first. That's got a lot of bounces, wobbling around it as well. It's going to be just a little bit harder for Greg. He's still going to volley it, but instead of volleying it like that, he's volleying it like that.
So
Last question from you. You're too many questions.
He's worked it out straight away.
One stop.
For the volley. Now if I'm playing Jonas, volley's a bit. Then I'm going to serve the big high one. That's what I'm about. Because he can't take that off the back. He's going to have to try and volley. And then I'm going to have to pick it off the penthouse.
Half, Jonas, half.
Right. Jonas and I go back a long way. And if you ever try to send him down that, he knows that I have a fund of stories about him. Right. Underarm twist. What is the underarm twist supposed to do? When it hits the back wall, which way is it supposed to go? Back up. Yeah, everyone agree? Yeah. Put it along the penthouse and it goes that way off the back wall. So it doesn't finish, for instance, about a yard in front of the grill. No?
is it a substitute for a railroad?
You're talking again.
Is it a substitute for railroad?
Andy, what's the big scheme? Well, that's at the side.
No.
When that hits the back wall, it's going to finish in front of the grill. What happened there? Did I hit it so bad?
Different place.
For the underarm twist, it depends where you hit it. And this is probably the most subtle of all the serves, because if you hit it here, you're putting more side spin on it. If you hit it here, you're putting top spin as well as side spin. If you hit it here, you're really not putting side spin on at all. You should be standing like this. Because you're standing like this, people think you're putting side spin on it. All you're doing is putting back spin on it, and that's why it finishes in front of the grill. So you want to be quite subtle about where you hit, vary where you hit your underarm, not only in width, but also in height. Because this one's going to spin more back into the wall than this one. Everyone happy with that?
Say that again.
Cool, you guys know everything. You know questions.
Can you show us the variation?
Yeah.
So the classic is there, and that's going to 10. It won't spin back as much as the rarer. Whereas this one is the backspin one, and it's just not coming back at all.
Is it there?
There's, how can we say this? For females that don't have, say, the strength of a male, there's been mentioned that we should hold the rackets the other way.
This way.
Yeah. Can you give any tips on that?
Well, it's very interesting. If you are doing a sidewall serve and look at the angle of those strings, there's not a lot of difference between that and that. But for some reason, when you hit the ball down here, there's quite a lot of difference between that and that.
Yeah.
So when I'm serving, because you get the ball coming more across the string, so when I'm serving underarm twists, I would normally have my racket upside down.
Oh, so you would?
But the main thing, you might notice all these serves, I've got a very short grip. So if you hold a long grip and do an underarm, you very often hit the ball on the back end. If you have a short grip, you'll never hit the ball back end.
That's good serve.
If you go to the face. Happy everyone?
But it's 10.
So Rob and some of the later ones, they tend to use a long grip and they just actually get more grip on the ball
With a longer grip.
with a long grip, but they don't.
Who does?
They do it slow. Rob, when he does an underarm twist, he tends to use quite a long grip, I notice, but he does it very slowly.
You're trying to get as much spin as possible.
Yeah.
So you want all the energy to go into spin rather than speed. Railroad. Happy to look at the railroad? Okay. Standard railroad. Depends who I'm playing. I'm playing Graham. It's not too bad. I'm playing Johns. It's disaster. So you're tailoring it. Actually, you're tailoring two things. You're tailoring your service to not only who you're playing, but also the type of game you want to play. Now, if you're a Rob Fay, Rob Fay 20 years ago, then he wants to play a fast game. He wants his next shot to be a volley, because the ball's being forced to him. So he's going to be a powerful railroad. And the only answer to that really is a boast or a force. If you're, say, 74 years old, and the last thing you want is the ball coming to you at speed, then you're probably going to do a railroad. That's the railroad I do, because walk across there. It's going to be volley, but I'm going to live. So, and like all these serves you can do countless variations. How many railroads do you have? Brothers, how many railroads have you got?
3.
3. What are they?
And you've taught me nearly all of them. So, on shorter chases, often I will throw the ball a bit further forward to get a little bit more pace and get it coming back quite quickly, say into the hazards. So they're restricted to.
On a short chase?
On a short chase, so that they.
Aren't you worried about the dead-off?
Well, not if you get it nice and tight. They've got to come up to the high part of the neck, and they're going to have difficulty getting into just that part. I have a slow one, which is loopy, and which you can serve all the way off to the middle. And then I just have a medium pace that you did, which I'll serve to Greg tonight, which is one where I'm just trying to get a fair bit of cut on it and basically try not to be in trouble.
Now, I don't want everyone to start getting preconceived ideas about Tasmanians just because of that. Ridiculous answer.
But you taught me the round.
But if you're playing chase a yard, well, if I'm receiving serve at chase a yard, I'm saying to my server, please serve up at back net. Oh, but if you're not going to serve at back net, at least serve it off the back forwards, so I can drive it. I don't have to try and drive a volley a shot down to be chased half a yard. So that's when you serve the slow one. Graham.
No, I'm talking more about the chase twos and
Oh, of course you were. Of course you were.
the ones you're going to try. You're trying to hit a slower shot.
That is a reasonable answer. Anything between chase 3 and chase 6, your opponent doesn't want to force. So you're serving him a fast rarer and encouraging the force is a reasonable plan. Yes. Hazard chase. What are you going to serve in a hazard chase?
Something. Something a bit slower and really tight to the wall, so it tries to cut out these, and also I'm just trying to make sure I'm in a situation where I'm going to be able to get around.
Like a railroad, yeah. What about the railroad off the side wall? You know?
You're looking at me?
Yeah.
So I quite often use that if it's a chase between 3 and 5. I will use a fast railroad onto the sidewall, down into there, on the basis that I'm going to try and get them to hit it into the main.
What length do you want it to be the other end?
Getting close towards the nick.
That's a reasonable answer too. I actually like the one that comes very short, so you get your opponent turned around there in the back. Because they're not used to that, they're not expecting it. So I think if you're doing one railroad in 8 off the sidewall, that's a pretty good decision. Show us.
That's miffed. That's a different serve. That's a very different railroad. What do you have to do as a railroad?
No. They're expecting it to come along through. Yep.
Probably because of the spin.
The left hand in a row.
Yes, please.
Learn how to play right-handed.
Unfair.
I belong to the school of thought that says that when your child is born, you let them grow up to be about a year old. When they get to a year old, you offer them a racket. If they take it in the left hand, just put them outside the door and let nature take its course. But most of the other things apply. Now, you do all those serves, you can do the high serves, practice those, and they're all going to work just as well. The natural serve for most left-handers is the right. I'm not at all left-handed, so I can't show you. But the same sort of things you're going to apply. You're trying to look at your opponent and saying, would he prefer me to volley? So would I prefer him to volley, or would I prefer him to force? Does he like to have, when you're this end, do you like to have the ball in your forehand, your backhand corner, or your forehand corner? So if you're serving one goes across the court, you're more likely to get it in your forehand. If you're serving it onto his volley, you're more likely to get it down there. just thinking about it. But the overall thing is trying to get your opponent to play your game, rather than being drawn in to play his game. Now, if you took someone like Wayne Davies, who's a great player, his attitude was, this is my best serve, and it's going to be too good for you. And most of the time, he was right. Because he would get in a rhythm of serving that serve, and his opponent, even though he got in a rhythm of returning it, couldn't handle it. Most people, when they came off against Wayne, would say something like, you're too good today. I took the opposite attitude. I never ever served two serves the same. Now, and when people came off having lost to me, which did happen occasionally, then they would usually say to me, I played rubbish today. Well, if you change your serve every time, then you won't get in the same rhythm. Well, they won't either. So it tends to be not quite a good standard game. But that's what suits me. Anyone want to have a go at any of these serves?
James.
Already.
Wouldn't you say that the only criminal guaranteed way of serving an Asian would be to be a tall left-hander who could serve like, I know, Gordon Elizabeth, is having a really fast left-handed railroad.
You're guaranteed that's going to be an ace against Rob Fay, are you?
A top player who's really hitting the ball like a bullet.
At the top level,
Yeah.
you cannot stop the receiver from playing a good return.
Good, mate.
A great return.
Cheers.
What you can do is dictate which sort of break return they do. You can dictate which sort of return they'll do. You know, if you're worried about Rob player's force, you can serve short and he'll volley. He'll volley it very well, but it's what you want him to do. Yeah, that's not going to worry Rob Fay or Camden. Not at all.
So these guys tend to do the demi-peaking now a lot.
Yes.
Very
What do you know about the demi-peak, Ava?
Trying to get listen to John Rotten Campbell.
So what sort of management should you use to keep the ball close?
Good now there was so much science.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Oh, just throwing it up there. This is working today. I'm going to go with this. I think my past did that. Speak for yourself.
Because I see a lot of players these days doing the demi-peaking serve, and they're doing they're sort of drifting it up there, and they don't really vary it a lot. For me, the key for the demi-peaking is try and get a high bounce. That's what you were saying. Get a high bounce off the ball, then either the penthouse sort of leaps, or else drops straight down here. And that's quite difficult to meet the penthouse for both. With the flattened half, the one that comes down here goes out like this, and the one that is coming like this. There's not a lot of difference. And so for that reason, I think we should try and practice a style of demi-people with the Slowly. Yep. What? If you play with the cut, especially with the long then
Yeah.
it's still coming off the same angle that it gets on this.
Can you do that one again? I didn't break it.
So there's dozens and dozens of different serves, unlimited. The main thing is getting out there. Caught late at night in practice. Where do you think we're going to go?
How's this been going? Has to have something running back.
Tell us something for the cheese.
Just do the bobble as I said. But talking about the bobble, where should you serve the bobble from?
Left-handed or right-handed?
Well, if you would
Centre of the court, last gallery.
you'd have to hit the ball quite hard. If you hit it hard, it's going to rebound quite a long way. So it's quite easy. So ideally, if you were out, you probably want to serve the ball from here. What you have to balance that is your ability to chase two when you're going to play the round. Now, if you're Camden, he serves the ball from here, because it's a great angle, and you can still get chase two. Or you can serve fast, that's three. That's what you need to do. For most people, the way I do it is I stand looking down at the half line, or line, whatever you do, just make it consistent. Okay?
How do you do a high drop, high cycle?
I did.
Do you ever do a high one?
High side.
Yeah, high.
Well,
The high one.
I thought they did it earlier, but the thing about the high side is you pitch it up. The junction between the wall and the penthouse. It hits the penthouse first, drops the ball, hits the wall, it's fine. And you as the server don't need to know which one's going to do this or down. But that's what I recommend you do. Quick in line, probably something like around the second last post at the top there, and find the junction between the wall and the penthouse.
You allow Adams to say boomerang? Sorry.
How did he do it? Cut. Cut. How did it go the other way? He's cutting like this. How is it turning that way? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Particularly against the left hand, it's very hard to volley that. I get that all the time. Fred used to always serve that to me. Fred Williams? Fred Kinnaman? Yeah. All the time.
Very much.
Because I've lost everything.
What's up, Michael? There's always a temptation. So in what ways does a new ball behave differently?
Bounces more.
Surprisingly, they cut less, don't they?
The new ball? Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't know why.
You want the day old ball still less than old. They give the appearance when they get towards the back of the court and come down that they have more cut, but they don't. It's because it's hit lower on the floor. It's hit lower on the back wall. And so the new ball will come down like that. The old ball will climb more off the floor but come steeper down.
So you're saying it cut off the old
The old ball will hit the side ball, you prefer to do the old ball across. By serving a railroad, you've got to be careful because with an old ball you might overspin from the back into the side ball.
Interesting why the...
And your ones seem to be more lively.
They're usually harder, and they're still at the time that we have to. I kind of think that's really fast. To be quite honest, I think the balls on the court, you may not know this, but the international sizing standard is whether I can put my finger in there. If I can't put my thumb in there, then the ball's too small. I think these balls are on the small side, and I think because this is a fast ball, a slightly bigger ball might serve it. So I wouldn't change it. I think these are great balls. I'm slightly biased because I was here, but I think these are wonderful. Well, you know, this is the best club in the world, of course. Even that's only going to have one. That might be the best sport in the world. No, we don't approve of boomerang.
Because you can do it perfectly, and actually it's a waste of your time.
No, not quite the reverse.
Yes.
Our objection to the boomerang is that you can take a talented gamesman off the street, 50 show them how to do the boomerang, and in 20 minutes he'd be able to do it as well as the world champion. Well, you don't, you would. Correct? But now we don't improve that. This is a different game. We want to learn. So we don't improve the serves. I don't improve of the way we tackle it. I think it's a very simple solution to how we should tackle it. But we don't improve it.
I wish I was a bloke who was screaming because like for years, when I was playing the pro this would go to the ball. I hit it, then he managed to hit me.
No harm.
So what's the difference?
My solution would be
Not an international competition, a professional game. It's just a contract between them. Probably
But this, by the way, is a thing which is going to work better with all balls rather than.
And why can't a lefty
There
do
was a
it?
British Open final in 1987, where Wayne Davies, who never did win the British Open, was 2 sets to 1 up, 5 all and 30 up. And what he served 3 boomerangs, and that was his 3-match points got. Couldn't touch it.
Mark Matt, Kevin Sheldon, and Wayne.
Lucky race the champion, the boomerang and the giraffe. Yes, the penthouse polishing era began.
It's not only bad, it's not much fun to play, it's also miserable to watch.
Yeah.
That's my
Miserable to play against.
If it's legal, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it is legal as per
Yeah, I don't have match point there, but
Pros back.
looks like time.
That's why I do. But it wouldn't take much. Get Andrew Lyons to do it.
Is there any chance of just talking through overhead serves? What, catheter?
Caterpillar, yeah.
You want to show us?
What do you do with
Payment can show you an overhead one.
He's 12 foot tall though.
Yeah.
He's got
Power bobble, I think they call it.
That's what I do.
Yeah. There's that guy, Wood Simon.
That's it. Why do you do it from over there though? Can't you do it from close to the gallery?
You want the receiver to be the guy on the other side.
But you know it's coming though if you stand over there and do
Talking
it.
about, say, the wobbles.
Yeah, but you do in doubles, especially. You get stuck like that in the wall.
Paris has got a very steep one. In order to get the ball to the other end or the bottom, you've got to hit the ball quite hard. The harder you hit it, the further it comes off. If you had an almost flat penthouse, you'd have to serve like this. It's going to run around by itself. And when it gets to the other end, it's going to be very slow. So on a flat penthouse, it's like Seattle, New York, no, that's a great serve. The other places who can serve as Bristol, and they have seen the World Championship there recently. The last ball to back ball, the last ball, no doubt, it's very difficult.
Well, the drag.
Again, it depends on your strengths. If you want to fast game more slowly, who you play. But to have range of, well, I used to think you probably ought to try and have a range of 4 or 5 frontline serves, and another 4 or 5 serves you're going to serve once a set, just to keep it like the same things up.
I think it was to practice would be a good idea to the front.
We were wondering.
Yeah.
I was actually having a little bit of a practice last night. I reckon the best skill is actually
Giraffe, yeah.
Giraffe.
the giraffe, the high school. Because one measure is when you get it all across the centre line when you get to the floor. When you've got such a high roof,
It's a hell of a serve, isn't it? How do you get that back in with that? It's very hard to volley.
I personally think that's a great service.
Great serve on any court.
Personally also, I don't want to sound like an old fart and my stuff, but I think the players today who are great players, certainly better than I was, I don't think they vary their serves.
That's a very good point. It's all railroad, isn't it?
To the opponent's skill as well, though.
Let me tell you a story. In 2016, Camden Revere won the World Championship for the first time. Rob lost 2 stones and he was trying to be as fit and fast as Camden. He lost 7 sets to 2. 2 years later, at Queen's, Rob put on that 2 stone and he was just hitting the ball that extra 10% faster. Camden really struggled. Now, I happened to be, I went along with commentating on the first day, and Camden won the first day 3 sets to 1. And the 4th set was 6-1. And you say, oh, Rob was a day off 50 or something. And switch away it was going. And then I went up to Portugal for 3 days. And while I was in Portugal, looking on my iPad, and I watched Rob win 4 sets in a row. Now, Camden is someone who's worked with me, so I'm in his camp. So I get back to England. I phoned now after morning the last day. I said, what the hell are you doing? He said, well, I can't serve to him. I serve deep, and he punched the ball into it up. I serve short. I can't serve to him. I got to serve my ball then. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, stand up here and serve your railroad so short off the wall that it lands only a foot over the service line. Now, he's a great technician, so he can do that. Anyway, the 3rd day starts. Remember, Camden is 5 sets to 3 down. And he actually goes 5-2 down the next set. And then he wins 10 games in a row. 10 games in a row against maybe the best player who's ever lived. And Rob, first of all, tried to volley. He's volleying down here, so it's no good. And then he stood back and carved all into the corners, and he does it very well, but that's exactly what Camden wants. And nicely. So Rob eventually goes, at the end of that set, it's 5 sets all. You've got to back the younger man at the stage. Rob goes, we're not going to do this here. And he stands down and just serves him out this way, and he goes, boom, last gap. Boom, last gap. Not second gap, because he alone hits that last gap if he wants to. Okay? Then he comes up this end, and this is what he does.
So the fault.
Comes over here. Walk back to the middle. Fix up another one. Back here. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. Okay? Then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does. And then he comes up this end, and this is what he does.
Kills his rhythm.
Slow and get it right then.
Caterpillar.
Another story. That took another hour and a half. What time at 6:36? So that was a really good example of somebody thinking in the moment, being able to change his game to suit the circumstances. Canada have won 10 games in a row. They've changed it all round.
Handy for me. I lose 10 in a row quite regularly.
It's a lot to think about.
Caterpillar, you need a steep game. So
That would be good for us.
Is our Steve?
Steve Oxford. Most.
It would be good for Fontaine. Okay.
I think James and Chris are going for dinner.
Well, Chris, thank you.
I've made a mistake. I didn't realise how many days I drink red wine. I need to swap 3 of the reds. You want to keep them or you sure?
Great to see you.
Said like.
We're all coming out of the
I wonder why Prue hadn't left. I wonder why Prue was stuck in the gallery. And
just got here.
But you're not going to
we got you around.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't teach anyway, but that is okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's good for
Nothing
everyone.
wrong with that. That's why we were talking about this power
Yeah. You see,
They kind of red like
and thick skin. Never. But even when he was